Let's see. Sean in Cyprus, it says that you are a Muslim who is offended by me.
Hi, how you doing? How you doing, Michael?
I'm good. I'm Michael.
How you doing?
Yep, what's up?
Well, I am offended because, especially when you're making statements about the religion of Islam, is making is teaching hate. I mean, I don't think you're a Muslim, and I don't think you've been to many mosques in your life.
I don't need to.
Or you've studied the actual text of the Quran or the Hadith, which is from the Holy Prophet.
I don't need to.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. But you're making absurd assertions about the religion of Islam, which is not true. It's like me stating the Westboro Baptist Church, and I'm going to say all of Christianity are radical fundamentalist terrorists, because I mean, even Christians,
No, Sean, you're onto something. I think you're right. I think the fact that one church is behaving in that way, one church of 50 people, I think it's a good analogy, because 300 million people must behave just like those 50, and there's only 50 million bad Muslims out there, right? I mean, 50. There's only one little church. One little mosque of bad Muslims. It's not multiple countries. It's not multiple terrorists. Europe isn't currently in lockdown mode over it. Nadal Hassan, the World Trade Center, the 9/11 bombings, the Christmas Day, much of England, much of Germany, what's going on in Afghanistan, the problems in the Middle East. I'm sure a mosque the size of Westboro could have that kind of influence around the world, couldn't they?
Well, you got to remember, there's a lot of people who like to pander to these types of folks, pandering towards hate and not freedom of speech. I mean, I'm an American, and I'm a Texan. I'm a staunch Texan at that. I mean, dude, when it comes to Second Amendment gun rights, I'm there with you, bro. You know what
Tell
I'm
me
saying?
how staunch you are. Give me 3 examples of how staunch you are. Blow my mind.
In relation to what?
Just you're a staunch Texan. Just prove to me how Texan you are.
Well, first off, I'm proud to be a Houstonian. I'm in the oil and gas industry. Well, as most folks would know, this is the oil and gas capital. I like they say in Texas, like they say in America, you can't avoid 2 things, and that's death and taxes, right?
Right.
So, I mean, let's get back on the topic. I mean, let me correct your numbers. Let me correct your numbers. There's no 50 billion terrorists or Muslims. There's 1.5 billion Muslims in total in the entire world. Let me go and correct that number.
Well, I don't think I said 50 billion, but I meant 50 members of a church. But I don't believe that every Muslim is a bad person. I know some good Muslims. I do think there is a problem that is on a scale that it needs to be dealt with. And I do think that America is wise to look hard at what mosques must be preaching today, because we're seeing homegrown Muslims in this country, Times Square, the guy that was just sentenced. We're seeing this over and over. They're not sporadic. They're not isolated. They are systematically training young Muslim men to be radical terrorists, and it is a threat to the Western world. There's no way around that, Sean. If you're not a terrorist, good for you.
I'm not a terrorist, and my religion does not preach terrorism, because I study both Christianity and Islam for a living. You know what I'm saying? I do it as a hobby, actually. And I mean, I love my Christian brothers and sisters, and I want every Christian that's listening to this show that Islam and Muslims are not against Christianity. We love our Christian brothers and sisters. Our chapter 19 of our Holy Quran is dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
Okay,
it
Sean,
is dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
Sean, you're killing me. Okay, I don't know what's in the book, and I don't need to. Let me be very clear. I know that some large number of people that read those words go out and want to kill people like me. I don't know what they read. They may read Mary Had a Little Lamb, but it inspires them to want to kill me and other people in America. Now, I think we got a problem with their interpretation of what's written and the people that are preaching from that Quran to these people. And I know that when the world needs to be under international lockdown over the fear of somebody burning a paper with some letters on it, there's a problem. I know that when they have to shut down the Draw Muhammad for a day because Muslims, peace-loving, tolerant Muslims, are going to start killing people and somebody has to go into a witness protection plan. I know that when Salman Rushdie writes a book questioning Islam and has to live under a fatwa for 20 years, we got a problem. I know that when a Danish cartoonist makes a cartoon about Muhammad and Muslims reading this peace-loving, tolerant, decent book with chapter 19 about Virgin Mary start taking and rioting in streets in multiple nations and people end up dead, I know we got a problem.
Am I still on the air?
No, it's just you and me now.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. It's just you and me. Go ahead.
Yeah, so, I mean, as far as I actually made replies on YouTube in relation to the Quran burning and Ground Zero Mosque incident. In relation to the Quran burning, again, we're Americans, and there's this thing called freedom of speech. But there's not this thing called freedom of stupidity. And let me quantify this response. In relation to freedom of speech, we can say, I mean, I can say, talk to you. We can have a debate on religion like we're doing right now. All praise be to God that this country allows us to have that freedom where we can agree to disagree, right? I mean, you can at least agree to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I would like to say that in relation to the freedom of stupidity, I can't just go, if I go up to your face, like it happens quite a bit of times in good old high school or in middle school, I can't just go up and talk about your mama. If I talk about your mama, it's like they say, those are some fighting words. That's the same concept with Islam. And not in the sense that I'm going to start fighting people because, you know what, I know better than that. All of these tricks and ploys have been done already in the history of Islam. Actually, people at some point in the religion of Islam in the history, people put Quran on spears to incite violence. But if you know the history, you won't get incited by this type of nonsense. So, I mean,
Sean, what kind of adherence to a religion when a piece of paper, and it's the same paper that could have printed the daily newspaper, what kind of followers of a religion, what kind of people need to start rioting around the world and blowing up innocent people because a piece of paper was burned, because the words that are on it, that's odd. That is damn near uncivilized. Hold on, Sean. We'll continue this conversation. I will be glad to do that.